Help! The locusts ate my church! From fellowshipofthemartyrs.com. Because of the deception that has fallen on the church, most folks are just as sure as they can be that they're rich and have acquired wealth and don't need a thing. They believe that they already have all the treasure in heaven that they need because they said the sinner's prayer once. But they don't realize that they're lukewarm, wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Revelation 3:17. And you know how they got so blind? Because God did it to them. He turned them over to their own reprobate minds because they insisted on going their own way. It's all in Deuteronomy 28. This is the true sign and wonder at the end of the age. Not peace and safety and prosperity. Those are the lying signs and wonders. The true sign to you and your descendants forever is that God did this to you because you did not joyfully and gladly obey the Lord your God in the time of prosperity. Therefore, in hunger and thirst, in nakedness and dire poverty, you will serve the enemies the Lord sends against you. Deuteronomy 28:45-48. Not teaching that in Sunday school, are we? How about this? You, who were as numerous as the stars in the sky, will be left but few in number, because you did not obey the Lord your God. Just as it pleased the Lord to make you prosper and increase in number, so it will please him to ruin and destroy you. Deuteronomy 28:62-63. Did you get that? He will prune you right off the vine, and you won't even know he did it. You'll be eating moldy dirt and be convinced it's filet mignon. Because our standards have been lowered so much, we'll pretty much buy anything nowadays. It's been so long since anybody came to church bringing pure, undiluted, capital T truth that it freaks us out when somebody says something that radical. We perk up to see if they'll do it again. But we also start dissecting everything to find any error so that we can justify marginalizing and ignoring them. In the end, we're searching, but we're not finding anything good to eat. There's milk out there and a tidbit of meat mixed in with a bunch of other moldy, poisonous stuff. But mostly, we're all starving to death, or eating things that aren't even food at all. Surely, you must see that locusts have come and sucked all the good stuff out of the church. If you could see inside the people, if you could see through the eyes of Jesus, you would see that they're pretty much all shackled and oppressed, and their cups are full of all kinds of nasty stuff. And there is no sign on the horizon that the system even cares or knows what to do to set them free. And I'm talking about completely, all the way, holiness walking, sanctified, big cup of Jesus, keep it full all the time, glow in the dark, peace, joy, and victory free. Do you even know anybody like that? Isn't that what we need? Aren't we all desperate for it but don't want to admit that we're not finding it? If we admit how truly, deeply unhappy we are, yet we've tried every available option with no success, then what will we do with ourselves except doubt that our faith is even real at all? Surely the Lord knew this was coming. This passage in Joel is as good a description of the church in America as I can find. Joel 1:16-18, NIV. Has not the food been cut off before our very eyes, joy and gladness from the house of our God? The seeds are shriveled beneath the clods. The storehouses are in ruins. The granaries have been broken down, for the grain has dried up. How the cattle moan. The herds mill about because they have no pasture. Even the flocks of sheep are suffering. The sheep and cattle mill around looking for green pasture, but can't find any. We have no real growth in church attendance in this country. It's all transfer growth. They're just milling around, mostly going from dying small congregations to mega churches with fancier shows and better childcare. But they're still just as hungry and oppressed. Please hear me. I know it sounds crazy, but I see people's cup. I can tell what's in there. I can see the spirits that are messing with them. That's the gift of discernment of spirits in 1 Corinthians 12:10. I can tell what's chewing on them and whispering to them. And I've been to about 200 institutional churches in the last 2 years, and they are all full of shackled, oppressed, dying people who are truly desperate to find truth, or convince themselves that they're not really starving to death, and pastors that are just as oppressed. Please hear me. This isn't working. You only think it is because you don't know the difference. You don't know what it could be like. But I do. The Lord has shown me true community, fellowship with believers that are fully cleaned out and walking in holiness and free of all systems and structures of man. People that will take a bullet for you, that will love you even when you poke them in the eye on purpose. People that will lay anything down for you, that will offer up their own marriage if only God will fix yours. People that can pray sincerely that God would send them to hell if only He would bring revival to this town. People that have real, true, full on joy and peace and victory. People that have been broken free of every yoke, and God directs their every step. Is that who you're hanging out with? Is that what your church is doing for you? 'Cause it should be. Please, please, stop eating the moldy stuff. Demand better. It's out there. It's within reach. It's your birthright. Don't settle for the status quo. Stop listening to man. Let's do it the way Jesus intended and get out of his way and see how different it could be. Please.